She left there. She called, her boss called and from the ice cream shop and was like, "Was Darcy okay?" And she said, "Yeah, she just met the guy she's going to marry."
Hey, I'm Tom Horner with Blanchard and Calhoun Real Estate Company, and I'm here with Darcy Zabel. And Darcy, how long have you been with Blanchard and Calhoun?
Well, I joined Blanchard and Calhoun in 2016 when we moved to Augusta.
So what brought you here to Augusta?
So my husband is a design engineer for John Deere, and so I met him in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where I'm from, and he was working on designing hydraulics for zero-turn golf mowers, but his dream was to design John Deere tractors, like actual tractors, and so he got the opportunity to do that here in Augusta, and so now here we are.
So Nando would be very excited with the zero-turn mowers
Yeah.
that he was designing earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
So you came to Blanchard and Calhoun. Tell me a little bit about what you do. What is your day-to-day that you like?
So every day at Blanchard and Calhoun is a different day, but what I do a lot of is working with new agents to try and get them started in the business, get them trained on the tools that they're going to need here to be successful while they're building their business, and then also helping our experienced agents as contract needs come up, as well as working as a liaison between BNC and our board offices, you know, the state board and the local board and all of
You're
that.
heavily involved in the board now. Good,
Yeah.
volunteering your time with that. I know you help Andrea and I out quite a bit, and with the contracts and everything. What is your favorite thing to kind of do with helping agents? Is there any one thing, the training maybe, or?
What I think I really enjoy most with agents is the one-on-one interaction of like getting that excitement when you get an agent that has come in and they've gone on their first listing appointment and they've got that first listing and they're excited about that, and then they get that listing under contract and they're excited about that, and then it closes and they get their first paycheck, and I mean that's a pretty big milestone.
Yeah,
Real
exactly,
estate, yeah.
Especially brand new agents, when they get
Yeah.
that, you can see from the fear of not knowing what to do to going all the way to the very end that they go, oh, I can do this.
Well, yeah, they've
I can
sat
do
in the
this."
pre-license class and they've been told how to write a contract, and I mean, we've all done it, right? We sat in that pre-license and Chapter 8's contracts, and you look at that, but then when you actually have to go write a contract, you're like, what? Where do I go to find this?
Right. So, Darcy, tell us a little bit about your family. I know that a lot of agents come into your office and they get confused because they see a picture of yourself on the wall. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, so I have an identical twin sister. Her name is Carissa. She lives in Raleigh still with her husband and their dogs. At my house, I've got my husband, Lauren, and then my daughter, Savannah, who's 5 now, and she's like, 5 is such a great age because she's just so excited about literally everything. It's raining, ah! And then my son Caleb is 2.
He's already 2?
Yeah, 2.
Good night.
Yeah, he's into everything.
So what is Savannah looking to get into the real estate business with her personality?
You know what Savannah wants to do? And it's great. I'm really looking forward to it. Savannah wants to be a fruit farmer. She's got this whole plan. Sorry, we're all relocating to Florida to live in this humongous fruit farm where she is going to farm fruit, and she has planned for Lauren and I to have our own house. There'll be 3 pools, 1 for the kids, 1 for the adults, and a hot tub because mommy doesn't like a pool. She likes a hot tub.
Nice. Sounds like a plantation right there.
Doesn't it sound nice? Yeah.
Well, you need to get your Florida license, start working on that.
Yeah, I know.
real
I know. I don't really know about the Florida part, but the rest of it sounds really great. So
you just recently got back from Disney. Was that a good experience with Savannah being 5?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah. Like even Caleb. Like Caleb loves Mickey Mouse, and we're like all in on Mickey Mouse. But Disney, you know, we had never been to Disney, and now we're already planning our next trip back to Disney. We're gonna be those crazy
y'all were sold
Disney
on Disney
people.
vacation.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is like they call it the Disney bubble, and it just like really is a Disney bubble.
Yeah, I think Caleb will probably like it even better next.
I
When he
think
gets
so
a little bit
too.
older, to kind of go back, and
I
then
think
Savannah
so,
will
yeah.
keep on
It's just gonna get
enjoying it
easier.
year in, year out
Yeah.
with the different princess breakfasts, maybe, or dinners or
Disney
whatever.
is like such a well-oiled machine. Like you go there, and like even standing in lines, the lines are fun. So you may not even realize that you're standing in a line.
Well, they better know what they're doing. The prices that they
That's
charge.
true.
they
That
need
is
to
a
have
true,
that.
no truer words, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, Carissa is in Raleigh, and where did you go to school?
NC State, go Wolfpack.
Did Lauren go to NC
No.
State also?
So Lauren actually went to Iowa State, it's a big engineering school in Iowa, and probably the main school that John Deere recruits out of. So he started with John
okay.
Deere right
Yeah.
out of college. Yeah.
All right, so we kind of know a little bit more about Savannah and Caleb and Disney. How did you meet Lauren?
So when I was in college, I worked in an office during the day, and then I would work in a bar at night. And Lauren and some friends came in from John Deere. They were wearing, it's important to know, they were wearing John Deere like golf shirts. They looked like they had jobs. That's important to know in the story. Okay,
Absolutely.
so they came in and they were celebrating somebody's last day, and that person was not there. So they were celebrating that person being gone.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Lauren comes up to the bar and he's like, what are your drink specials? And kind of like that. Okay,
Right.
so Lauren comes up to the bar and he's like, what are your drink specials? Well, Tom Horner, what's your drink at the bar?
It's Miller Lite.
Miller Lite. So you go into the bar and you say, I want a Miller Lite.
I want a cold Miller Lite.
You don't say like,
Yeah.
Okay, so in my experience bartending, anytime somebody came in and they didn't know what they wanted, they were underage. So I was like, and it was $2 Miller Lites, and can I see your ID? So he hands me his ID, and I'm like, dude, you're like 25. It's not your first day at the bar. Like, why are you acting like you don't know what to drink here? And so, like, and that's just kind of how I did
Right.
bartending. Was kind of talked a lot
Gave
of
him
trash.
grief,
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, so he gets his Miller Lite and he goes sits down with his friends, and they're over there and they're having a good time. And I go over and he's like, they're all sitting there and he's like, we're just having drinks, we're not gonna eat. And I was like, oh, well, okay, well, you've each had 3 beers, so if you're gonna have another one, you're gonna eat. So cheeseburgers, what do you want on it? And so he orders, they all get these cheeseburgers.
So you're pressuring them into getting food.
No, I'm like keeping them safe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so then he's like, hey, and we want to send drinks to these girls over there. And I look across the restaurant and I'm like, well, I went to high school with them. One of them just had a baby last week. The other one is engaged, and the other one is married to a guy she dated at high school. So we're probably just not going to do that.
Right.
And so they thought that was super funny. And then, so anyway, it gets time to go to leave. And they're like, well, where's the party at now? And I was like, ooh, it's like 8:30. I'm going home. So you have to tell me where the party is. And they're like, well, let's go have a drink. And I was like, well, okay, yeah, because I've been cutting up with these guys for 2 hours now.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, well, we can go do that. But I would only go to places with people where I knew other people that worked. And when you work in bars, you know everybody else that
Kinda know
works
the
in
lay
bars.
of the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I picked a bar and we went to another place down the road. And I got in the car with Lauren and drove there. Well, when I left, the people that I worked with, I was actually working for my sister that night. We both bartended at the same restaurant.
Right. I was gonna say you should invite Chris, so they'd be really
Yeah.
confused.
Well, she had another job too. She managed an ice cream shop, and so she was doing that. It was their like seasonal opening. So she was there. Well, I leave. The people at the bar call my sister and tell her that I'm an idiot who just left with a bunch of drunk guys. And so my sister's calling and calling and calling, and she's like, you don't make good decisions. I'm coming to get you. And I was like, well, you're welcome to come, but I'm not leaving. So she drove to the bar, and her plan was to drag me out because I'm an idiot and take me home. But then she got there, and I was like, well, I'm not leaving. Would you like some nachos and a beer? And so she sits down, and she left there. Her boss called from the ice cream shop, and was like, well, is Darcy okay? And she said, yeah, she just met the guy she's going to marry. So she knew it before I did. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So she left the ice cream shop unattended to go
Well,
meet your
I
future
mean,
husband.
he was there, yeah, yeah. So, like, and that was actually March 1st of 2013. So I met my husband 10 years ago yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. And so my sister called and asked if he was celebrating 10 years of meeting her yesterday. Because it was their 10th anniversary of knowing each other, too.
Nice, nice. What do you feel like is the biggest difference that you've seen with Blanchard and Calhoun Real Estate Company and the other companies out there? What makes us stand out in your opinion?
The thing I think is and it's the foundation of this company is family. Like, I moved to Augusta knowing literally not a person except for my husband, and I came to BNC, and even when I came for my interview at BNC, I didn't even know. I thought I was going to interview at a builder. I don't know why I thought that, but that's what I thought. I had a background in construction, and I thought that's what I was going to do.
Well, we represented a bunch of builders.
Yes, and that's actually how I found out
about.
about the job, was at the closing, and the person who told me about it thought was the builder.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was coming to interview at a builder, and when I got the job offer, I accepted it without even calling my husband, and he said, "Why? Like, we didn't even talk about this. Like, how did you make such a big decision?" And I said, "I just had a great feeling." And the feeling here is family. Like, the people at BNC, you know, the leadership
So you're
team,
big
the
into
agents.
feelings. You get into a car with
Yeah.
somebody just
Yeah.
on a whim.
It's a
Next thing you
feeling.
know, you marry them
It's a
because you had a
feeling.
good feeling.
Do you know that's why most people, I think, pick their houses? They walk in and they feel like it's home.
Absolutely.
They walk in and they're like, it's a feeling. It's just the feeling you get when you're at the right place. And I got that feeling, and now here I am.
They turn a house into a
Yeah,
home.
it's it's a family. This is a family, and the family's. I mean, it's a good.
So
feeling.
you've done a number of different things, I guess, with us throughout the years, and then you came where, you know, like I think I said earlier, that you help out Andrea and myself out quite a bit with kind of our training, our ninja selling system, kind of putting up with us. You know, how do you feel the real estate market is in today's environment?
So, the real estate market right now, I mean, it's a strong market. And I think that a lot of times, like right now, I think people maybe don't realize what a great market it is because they're coming off of 2 years of an abnormal market. We were clearly rolling down a hill at an unsustainable pace. And like, if you look at the numbers, like we're still having a jam up business. It just, when the business took off for 20 and 21 and it was so crazy, we had to come up with new systems and new plans and put new practices in place to just barely hang on to what we were doing.
Well, we had to change so much during that time from when the pandemic hit and we were all sitting there, are we going to be able to sell a house? And then we figured out we could. Then now we had to figure out how can we help them even more.
Yeah.
And you were having to do it from home. You were having to, everything was by email or Zoom, as we do a lot of things now with it. So there was, the agents really do appreciate the work that you do for them. And it's the, I guess the fact that they come and like to sit in your office all the time, that there is never a vacant seat in your office. So who enjoys sitting in your office the most in the company?
Well, it depends on the time of day.
So the morning, who's the AM sitter?
The morning shift is split between, well, Sherry Sanders.
Sherry Sanders, yeah.
And Tony Hall. Tony Hall comes in the morning, he sits down, he gets his cup of coffee, so he says we're going to chew the fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by either one of those. So.
Yeah, the world's problems.
Yeah.
Then in the afternoon, Larry will come in a lot and sit in my office.
Larry Borkel.
Yep, Larry Borkel will come in and he'll visit with me. Brad Mary comes in to visit with me in the afternoons a fair amount.
Yeah.
Yep. Every once in a while, Woody stops by, but Woody's kind of like an in and out kind of guy. You don't really know when
Well, he's got a lot of
come in.
things going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Nanda and Tony, but they don't come in and sit down. They stand in the door and we chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I come downstairs to your office to chat.
Yeah, I get the scoop of what's going on.
I come in my
after
private
that.
entrance, sit down.